G'day, Tragic here, and oh, gee, look at this, a ginormous box. Now I have no idea what this is, I really don't know. I assume it's an old Kickstarter. I back a lot of Kickstarters, so I've got like a backlog of like 3 or 4 years of Kickstarters, so they just sort of turn up. So, what will this be? Something awesome, I hope, and something that will be very, very cool. So I am absolutely stoked to know what this is as well as you guys. Can we see? Anyone to guess? It's still pretty hard to tell. Ooh, one. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, let's get this out and then I'll bring it out one by one and show you the goodies. Okay. And there it is. Let's bring it up. Woo. The Domain of Mirrors Nocturnus. It is a Hexploret game. Now, Hexploret, for those of you that do not know, the awesome, Hexploret is an incredible game system that came out on Kickstarter, I want to say 2014. And they just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And this is a new version of the game again. And some of them are more complex than others. Some of them are great big open world games. Others are dungeon crawlers. But what really creates them, like the feel of the Hexploret games is, of course, the hex map, which you can see in here. Now, let's try and open it. See what we got in here. Oh, gorgeous. Lots of dice, bags, beautiful cards. Now, this is a game that you can play with people or solo. I bought it mainly for solo play and probably play on my channel. God, look at the Kickstarters are so crazy with all the extra stuff they give you. Okay, so here's a bunch of the bad monsters. So the theme of this is basically Transylvania fantasy, vampires. That's a headless horseman, it looks like. So you usually have like major villains, and each major villain comes with its own set of rules, which sort of modify the game. But what really sets this one apart is this. The Hexploret game board. Now, this is a sort of like a whiteboard, basically, and somewhere they should provide me with, if I can get through this metric ton of content in this game. Here. So, they provide you with these special things. These are probably just whiteboard markers, right? And the idea is that if you get to 4 ability, you'll circle the 4, you type tragic, or whatever. Like, my writing's not that neat when I'm holding something in the air. Now, I was worried that if I rub this out, they'll leave a mark, but you can see, beautiful, completely gone. So what they've done is they've kind of included pen and paper RPG style stuff. Like, so this here is like your inventory. They call it the backpack. So you actually write your objects down rather than having to you know, have cards and tokens and all this kind of stuff, much like an RPG. And gorgeous art. Look at the double-sided art. See, that's just luxury, because most of the game it's going to be like that. You're never going to see it. But they've given us Scout, Shadow Rider, the Inquisitor. Should be more than that. I wonder if there's another layer to this. Ah, the Hex Boards themselves. Okay, so I'm not going to pop all these out. I'm just going to pop out one. So it basically has a very similar board to that space game. What's it called? Legends of Zaya. And what Hexploret was about was the idea. Have you ever played RPGs like, say, Forbidden Lands by Free League? I just happen to be playing this one at the moment. Forbidden Land has a hex map that you traverse and explore, and like the dungeon master can sort of insert quests and dungeons and interesting things around the map for the players to discover. So this hex map basically mimics that concept. It's an explorable map. Now, some of them more freeform than others. Like some of the Hexplorets have been very, very open world. Others have been more directed. I'm not quite sure how this one is going to fall on that list. But you can see, if I zoom out a little, you can see some of the map tiles. And a lot of detail. So these are basically like old school RPG maps. And you can explore, find treasures. Now there's like little tiny mini quests, dungeons that you go to. There's a lot of stuff in this map that you explore and find. And the interesting thing is it also creates like a persistent world. Not persistent between games because of some of the random stuff, but it's still persistent compared to a normal board game. Like you can find the similar location. So you can talk to a friend and say, oh, did you go into the tower of whatever? And they go, yeah, I didn't find that. Where was that? And you tell them, and they can have similar shared experiences. Now there's a number of decks. Looks like they've given us little deck boxes. Kickstarters are ridiculous, aren't they? All this junk. Jack up the price, baby. Don't need any of this crap. So, beautiful cards. These are monster cards. Dire rats, vampire bats, night stalkers, crows, giant constrictors, ooze, floating eye. How awesome is that? See, there's die values to control the AI. Oh, can't get wrong. The Mimic. The all-time favorite chest in any RPG. Everyone loves mimics. Oh yeah. So very excited to play this. Now, when this came out in 2014, I actually backed the original and then backed out because I was, I just thought it was a lot of money at the time for me. Wasn't working as regularly. And I just felt, I don't know. I was worried about the you know, these things leaving weird marks all over the place, because I've seen a lot of games use markers and they always end up with sort of grey smudges everywhere. But after a bunch of games coming out, I always regretted missing that Kickstarter. And in fact, I'm going to have to, how did this pack up? What's this? Keepsake. Erasers. Interesting. They're just no cornering on the cards. Cheap to make. I mean, they're high quality, but these aren't very different from the cards you print yourself at home because, you know, they've got no corner cuttings. Printed on white stock. Yeah, so what was I saying? So the point is, I always wanted to get Hexploret, but I never picked it up because I was worried about, you know, the quality it would have with the, you know, the erasable things and some other issues. But over time, I realized that all those fears were completely unfounded because it's been around for so many years now, and I've just heard nothing but absolute high praise from everybody I know who had it. So there's that. Okay. Looks like I can work out how to put it back together. So I have to read that, and I'll probably play this on the channel very, very soon. Whoa, that's awesome. Now, there's some extra goodies though. For starters, I got an extra deck that's got some extra monsters and stuff, and plus I also got some extra dice. These aren't particularly needed, they're just for my own typical wants, you know, because I'm a bit of a overbuyer. Looks like there's another deck that's in the box. Didn't want to throw that out. But there's more. Wait, there's more. And here we have the expansion Return. This is a continuation of the story, and this is what I've heard great things about these games is that they have great storytelling, as in like Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror, the story is told through gameplay, but there is overarching themes to each villain which creates sort of like a purpose for them. So this is extra stuff. What have you got in here? More monsters and more characters. Let's have a quick look at these. Calamity. Disaster, Tragedy, Cataclysm. Expansion items. And we've got Blood Mage, Death Knight. Let's have a look at the Blood Mage. Girl? No, it's a goblin. Awesome. Way to go. Usually blood mages are always sexy girls. It's good that they didn't go for that. Demonologist. Ooh, with a little hellhound. Very nice. And a whole bunch of things. Now the reason why... now I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check. That comes with some more dice. And some weird gems. Now I'll have to sort of go through this and find exactly what it is. You can see it has a special new map here. Looks like you're entering some kind of horrible sarlacc pit. So you enter here, look at all the tentacles on the walls, all the way around until you get to this thing in the center. Whoa, so cool. I can't wait to discover what all this stuff is. Oh, very exciting. Yeah, so I don't really know exactly what is in this expansion, except it was, you know, click on this button to buy everything at once. So that's that. But there's more, because I am me, and there's this thing here. Now, I might have said at the beginning of this video, basically, Hexploret came out in 2014, the original. And I always regretted not getting it. It was sort of right back, not really the early days of Kickstarter, but the early days of me trusting Kickstarter, I should say. And I just backed some big ones, and I backed out of it, and I always regretted it. And I basically kept going back and checking on this company every couple of years to see what they were doing. And I would always have missed a Kickstarter, like literally by weeks. But this one, I happened to get there in time, so I grabbed it. And while I was there, I couldn't resist grabbing a copy of the original Kickstarter that I always regretted missing. Just get this out of the way. It's got nothing to do with it. It's just a very awesome game that has a hex map rules. So this is the original Valley of the Dead King, the one that started the whole thing. Now, I've heard that it's a little bit clumsy in relation to the modern versions of the game, but I had a look on the forums. There's even some data on how to upgrade to the modern rule system. But what is interesting about this particular set is, if I find it, and this is one of the reasons why I was compelled to I wanted to buy it just for the completion thing because I was so excited that I could finally get this game. You know, almost a decade I've been trying to get it, so I couldn't say no. But in addition to all its goodies, we won't go through everything. Here we are. Look at this. Look at all the characters. Trap specialists, berserkers, necromancers, healers, rabble-rousers, apocryphy, summoner, oracle. And these are compatible in the other one as well. Cartographer, minstrel. What are these? These look like monsters. They're probably not compatible. They're just for the game. Little battle mats. So here's the cities, city locations. So you've got roll tables to find out what cities they are, who they're aligned to, and what's in the cities that you can find. There's a market. You can find what's in the markets. Different cities have different goods, different trade routes. Awesome. What else we got? Sorcerer, the brute, the scoundrel, the nomad, another beastmaster. Didn't we already have that? Priest, elementalist, another shaman. I wonder if they're different. Surely we already had a shaman and a brute. So this is abilities over here. Maybe they're different. Okay, we'll find out. So let's go shaman. Oh, berserker it was. Not brute, it was berserker. Yeah, so there isn't actually doubles. So the point is, there's an absolute metric ton of characters to play, playable characters in this one, which you can then play in all the others. This one here has more playable characters than all the other sets put together. So it's a great one to get as a boost to your original game. And also, like I said, I was absolutely just dying to get this because I've been trying to buy it literally for about 10 years because it's too obscure to end up in the stores in Australia. So the only real way to get it was through Kickstarter. And because the Kickstarter was old, and let's face it, the original not that popular, I mean, it was just a cost a fortune to buy. But now, I finally got it. Now, the question is, which one do I play first? The modern rule one or the one I've always wanted to play? So, it's a bit of a decision I need to make. So this one is a bit different. So this one you have general monsters and stuff, but you've also got an overall arch villain in the Lich King that is, it's sort of like Saruman. You know, like all the evil stuff's going on. But they're all trying to pave the way for this Lich King who end up having to deal with. And he runs around taking over cities and taking over the map. Very cool. And because it's a Kickstarter, I also was able to get the original Kickstarter content, which isn't available retail, which has yet more characters to play. Let's have a look at the backs this time. Ooh. There's a new version of the Dead King. Ooh, looks like a rogue or something. Spellblade, nice. Everyone loves Spellblades. Stormland, okay, so we've got like some kind of druid, beastmaster kind of guy. What is he? Beast Lord. Monsters. And another character, the Vagabond. I go where the wind wills. Agile lunge, warding parry, inner strength, watchful eye. Yeah, so this is another little expansion, kind of like the other one. Again, I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is or how it's used, so I'll have to figure that out before I start to play. And that is that. Now, it's going to take me a while to learn all this. There's quite a lot of content, as you can see. I need to punch board it. I need to go through it. Oh. But there it is. Right. Boom. The latest and first of the big Kickstarters from when I started rebuying into Kickstarter after the pandemic. And look at that. I've got the game I've always wanted. Like, you know when you're a collector, like I am, when something gets missing from your collection, it really bugs you. I mean, it's not like life or death. I don't go crazy over it, but at the same time, it always does bug you. So I finally got that, but this is the one I actually bought to play. I might play this one, I don't know. Anyway, that's that. Super excited. Finally got Hexploret, and I will see you guys next time.